Hi, this is Tiffany from the Christian Book Fair Volunteer. I am going to talk to you today about some books that are great for the Lent season as well as the Easter season. And I'm going to start off with a little bit of information, though, real quick. The Easter books is kind of what really led my heart to think about why not have a Christian book fair for people that would like Christian books as opposed to a secular book fair. So I remember I'm a convert and I wasn't raised in the faith, and so when I had my children and wanted to raise them in the faith, the preschool that they went to was a Christian preschool, and they had a book fair, and it was a secular book fair. And when I saw their Easter books were all about Easter eggs and Easter bunnies, I was like, I haven't been a Christian for very long, but pretty sure this is not what we're supposed to teach about Easter. Am I against Easter eggs? No. By all means, no. My kids and I always decorated Easter eggs, hid Easter eggs, but we definitely taught, I definitely also taught, what Easter is really about. And those are the kinds of books that I got them. And it was really great because, by God's grace, that helped my children really to focus on, God's love in the Easter story as opposed to just the candy. For example, I remember, hiding all the Easter eggs, and my son came up to me once and he was like, "Hey, I found the Easter egg with God's love in it." And I'm like, "Okay, this is great. I want to see." And he opens up the Easter egg and it's empty. And I'm thinking, "Oh my gosh, I forgot to put candy in it." And maybe just one, right? And he found it. But what was really sweet is by God's grace, he didn't think, "Oh, I got the dud." He thought this was the empty tomb, and he found the one with God's love in it. And I just thought that was so spectacular, and I was so thankful to God for that grace because I felt terrible that I didn't put candy in one of the eggs. And so I want to encourage, reading great books for kids. I'm going to start out with the Lent season. Lent season is really great to talk about for kids that are, I would say, like, second grade is a really good time for them to kind of understand the concept of forgiveness and, the story and the struggle that Jesus went through. And so I'm going to share some of these books for the Lenten season. The first one is Let's Learn About Lent. And this is just kind of a real basic early reader kind of book that a second grader could read and that you could read together as a family for younger kids. But the idea is to talk about this is kind of what we do for Lent, and this is why. And it's a good, sweet book, great pictures. And then there's another one called 40 Days for Lent. Again, this would be for older kids that want to be able to understand the concept of Lent and to be able to participate. So this is a devotional, and every day is another day for Lent, and you can, it gives you different topics to talk about and reminders of why we're doing this, and so it's like a little Lenten calendar for kids. This is really great and fun. Kids really like to be engaged in the activities. So this is going to teach them, about God's love, about praying, about why we participate in Lent. Good habits, young. Great idea. This book is not particularly about Lent. It's actually more based on the story of the Palm Sunday, and it's called The Donkey That No One Could Ride. And this story, I love this story. It's centered around Palm Sunday, but it's really about God's love and in empathy, and this little donkey that nobody loved except for Jesus. And this is just the sweetest story. Really great story to help kids understand empathy and compassion. And in the end, I was just in tears. It was so sweet. And of course, in the end, it's, Jesus chooses the little donkey. And the donkey is so happy. Very sweet story. It's good also to have little coloring books about the bread of life, because the Last Supper is also kind of during this time period as we come closer to Easter. And of course, forgiveness, because that's kind of the the main topic of Jesus giving his life for us. So understanding forgiveness, and of course that's really a great topic for second grade, for sure. So one more book, I have The Stations of the Cross. Again, this would be for older readers, because it's going to go into more in depth about the Passion of Christ. But in a way that kids can pray along with and understand and empathize and have compassion towards Jesus. Okay, so then Easter books. There's a lot of Easter books out there, and I'm just going to share some of my favorites. The Easter Stories for Young Children. This is a Lift the Flap book, which is a lot of fun. This is great for young kids. This is great for preschool and up. It starts with the stories of Jesus. It goes right into the Last Supper, and then it goes into the resurrection of Christ and so forth. But it has all these cute little lift the flap features that kids love. This is a really cute and fun book that's engaging for kids that will help children to understand and learn about the Easter story. Another one is the Bernstein Bears and the Easter Story, which is a classic kind of favorite. And this is actually where the Bernstein family are reenacting the story of Easter. And it starts out in Palm Sunday. And there's no mention of the Last Supper. It goes from Palm Sunday into praying in the garden, and then into the Passion and the resurrection of Jesus. Really cute story. I love the family-oriented storyline as well with the Bernstein Bears. Very sweet. For young readers, we have Jesus, God's Only Son. This also starts out with the praying in the garden, and then goes into the Passion and then the resurrection of Jesus. So this is a really great story told in this beautiful art, but also something that kids can read along with. So this would be good for, you can actually read this to your kids when they're little, and then also as they get to be good readers, they can read it back to you. And so this would be good for like kinder and first grade reading levels. Another is An Easter Bunny's Tale. And this is the Easter story told by bunnies. And it's just a cute, fun, little creative way to explore the story of Jesus, where these fun little bunnies are getting together and talking about the story. Again, this is, I would say, for older kids, because it does have, the Passion of Christ in here, and which is a little bit more intense for the younger children. And I don't know if it actually shows, so it shows the Jesus among the leaders, and then carrying out the cross, and then the tomb opening and the resurrection. Cute story. This one I would say is even for older kids. This is the garden, the curtain, and the cross. So I would say second grade and up, because it's really more conceptual and about like, why did Jesus have to die? And it kind of starts it starts all the way from the beginning, and then talks about how people sinned, and then Jesus wanted to forgive us for our sins, and it's really beautifully illustrated. It's more in depth in terms of the concept of the Easter, in the Passion of Christ, and the and so I would say that's why I would say it's for older kids, but really interesting and a really great book. The Garden, the Curtain, and the Cross. Again, there's a lot of coloring books available too that are fun. He is Risen, The Resurrection are really cute ones. So those are a lot of really great books for the Easter season, for the Lenten season, and for the Paschal Mystery for those that don't like to say Easter. That's what we're talking about. Anyways, I hope you enjoy, and God bless.